Hey traders, welcome back. I've got something really good for you today. We're jumping straight into TradingView, which in my opinion is the best charting platform out there. I've been using it every single day for years, and honestly, I can't trade without it. Now, I know some of you are brand new, and some of you have been around the charts for a while. Either way, by the time we're done, you're going to be running TradingView like a pro. I'm talking fully organized, super efficient, and with a setup that actually makes trading easier instead of overwhelming. And listen, I'm not holding anything back today. I've spent thousands of hours on TradingView over the last 5 years, and I'm going to give you all my tips, tricks, and the little shortcuts that most traders never figure out. This is going to be the most complete TradingView walkthrough you've ever seen, so stick with me. We're going step by step. First, I'll show you how to create your account and get your very first chart up and running. Then we'll customize it, the layout, the colors, the chart styles, so it actually looks and feels right for you. After that, we'll dive into the fun stuff: indicators, drawing tools, alerts, and all the features you need to spot trades faster. And here's the best part. I'm not just showing you random settings. I'm going to walk you through my exact workflow so you can see how I keep everything clean, organized, and ready for action every single trading day. So buckle up, because by the time we wrap up this session, you're not just going to watch the markets, you're going to understand them. All right, guys, let's get started. The very first thing we're going to do is create your TradingView account. And trust me, it's super simple. I already have mine, but for this tutorial, I'm going to walk you through it step by step so you can follow along. So here's what you do. Open up your browser, head over to the search bar, and type tradingview.com. That's going to bring you right to the home page. Now, up here in the top right corner, you'll see a button that says Get Started. Go ahead and click that. Now, here's the good part. We actually managed to get a special link from TradingView. I've put it right at the top of the description and also in the pinned comments. Once you click the link, you'll see a window that says you were invited to TradingView. From there, click Join Now to unlock $15 reward. Now, you've got a few options to sign up: Google, Facebook, email, and so on. Personally, I recommend using your email. Just click the email tab and a little form will pop up. Enter your email and password. Tick the reCAPTCHA box, hit Create Account, and you're almost done. TradingView will send a confirmation code to your email. Just open your inbox, click Confirm, and boom, your account is ready to go. That's it. Simple as that. All right, so once you've created your account and logged in, this is what you're going to see: your TradingView home screen. Right here, you've got a full market overview, kind of like your dashboard. You'll see a quick summary of all the markets you can explore, analyze, and start breaking down. It's a nice way to get a bird's eye view of what's going on before you dive into your charts. Now, up here, we've got some important tabs: products, community, markets, news, and a few others. Don't worry, I'll walk you through the ones that actually matter so you're not wasting time clicking around. One of my favorite tools, and I use this all the time, is the economic calendar. Hover your mouse over the product tab and let's click on calendars. Then choose economic. This is where you'll find all the events that could shake up the markets. Here's a quick tip for you. Filter it to show only high impact events. That way you're not flooded with minor updates. You'll see which country the event is from and how it might affect price movement. Trust me, this is gold for planning trades around volatility. Another cool feature under the product tab is the screener. This lets you filter and find specific pairs or assets to trade. I won't go too deep into that right now, but it's worth playing with later. Now, the community tab. This is where you can find trade ideas, analysis, indicators, and strategies shared by other traders. It's also where TradingView hosts community events. If you like seeing what other traders are thinking, this is your spot. Over in the Markets tab, you'll see every market TradingView covers: stocks, ETFs, crypto, forex, indices, futures, bonds, you name it. If it's tradable, it's probably here. One of my other favorite tools is the News tab. The News tab is another big one for me. This is perfect for figuring out why the market is moving. You'll see key headlines that can impact your trades. You can even select the markets you care about, so you're only seeing relevant news. There's also the Brokers tab, which lists all the forex brokers and crypto exchanges that TradingView supports. We'll talk more about that later when we set up your charts for live trading. And here's another quick pro tip: download the desktop application. Just go to More, then click Desktop Application. They've got versions for Windows, which is what I'm on, Mac, and even Linux. The desktop app just feels cleaner and more responsive than using the browser version. All right, now let's talk about the very first thing we all need to know: how to actually open a chart in TradingView. So here's how you do it. Go up to the Products tab and click on Super Charts. And just like that, boom, we've got our first chart open. Think of this as your home base. This is where all the magic happens. By default, TradingView usually opens up with an Apple chart. You can see it up here in the top left. It says Apple INC. That just means we're looking at Apple's market data right now. Now, before we start changing markets, let me show you something a lot of people ask me about: how to change the appearance of your chart. If you're like me and spend hours staring at the screen, a bright white background can be brutal on your eyes. Mine gets dry fast, and that white glare doesn't help at all. So here's a quick fix. At the top left corner, click on your profile icon. Head down to where it says Dark Theme, click it, and switch to dark. Look at that. So much easier on the eyes. The chart background goes dark, the sides go dark, and everything feels smoother. Of course, if you're one of those rare people who prefer light mode, no judgment, you can stick with that. Totally personal preference. And don't worry, later in the video, I'll show you how to fully customize your chart colors, even down to the candlesticks themselves. All right, back to the chart. This is where we'll be doing all our analysis and looking at any market we want. If you want to change what market you're looking at, just click where it says Apple INC up here, or click on the ticker symbol box at the very top. When the search window pops up, you can type in the name or ticker symbol of whatever you want to trade: stocks, crypto, forex, indices, you name it. Let's try Bitcoin. If I type Bitcoin here, you'll notice there are a ton of options. And this can get confusing. The reason is simple. Bitcoin is traded on different exchanges, and each exchange has its own chart. You can see them listed here on the right: Bitstamp, Coinbase, and so on. Now, me personally, I trade on Bybit, so I just scroll until I find BTC/USD Bybit and open that one. And there we go, Bitcoin chart is up. Here's a quick tip for you. When you're searching, try using the ticker symbol instead of the full name. It's faster, and TradingView will give you more accurate results. For example, Bitcoin's ticker is BTC, Apple is AAPL, and Tesla is TSLA. If you're not sure what a ticker is for a certain market, just Google it, Tesla ticker symbol or gold ticker symbol, and you'll have it in seconds. So for us, since we're sticking with Bitcoin right now, I'm just going to type BTC, hit enter, and select the exchange I'm trading with. And that's it! We've got our main chart ready. This is where we'll do all our analysis and track every move in the market. If anything's unclear or if you've got questions, drop them in the comment. I'll try to answer later. See this menu right here? This is where you can switch between different time frames depending on how you want to look at the market. Right now, on my screen, we've got the Bitcoin candlestick chart up, and we're on the daily time frame. That means each individual candle you see here is telling you the story of a single day's worth of price movement. Open, close, highs, lows, all packed into that one candle. Now watch this. If I click down and select the 4-hour time frame, everything changes. Now each of these candles is no longer one full day. Instead, they're showing you exactly 4 hours of price action. This is perfect when you want a closer look at what's happening inside those daily moves. If I go even lower, say down to the 1-hour time frame, now every single candle here is showing just 1 hour of market activity. This is what we use for day trading, catching those small, quick moves that happen within the day. When you're day trading, you're not holding for weeks or months. You're looking to get in, catch the move, and get out. But if you're investing or holding positions for a long time, you'd be using daily or even weekly charts instead. Now, here's a pro tip. If you've got certain time frames you check all the time, you can make your life a lot easier. You don't need to scroll through the whole menu every time. Just click on this little arrow pointing down, and you'll get a full drop-down list of available time frames. On the right-hand side, you'll see a star icon. Click that star, and it'll add that time frame to your favorites bar at the top of your chart. Click it again, and it removes it. For me, I like to keep the 5-minute, 15-minute, and 30-minute charts up there for my quick scalps or intraday trades, and then the 1-hour, 4-hour, daily, and weekly for my swing trading and higher time frame analysis. Those give me a clean, balanced view of the market. And if you want something unique to your style, you can create custom intervals, say a 2-hour or 3-minute chart, and TradingView will save them in your list. Now, let's move over here to this box. This one controls how your market data is actually displayed on your screen. Right now, I'm showing you the candlestick format, which is the one I personally use the most. But if I click here, you'll see a drop-down menu with all the different chart types TradingView offers. You've got line charts, which are the simplest and just connect closing prices together. You've got bar charts, and you've got Heikin-Ashi candles, which smooth out the chart and are really popular with traders who want to identify trends more easily. But even with all these options, candlesticks are by far the most popular, and for good reason. They give you the most information at a glance. You can also favorite your preferred chart types here, same as with the time frames. With candlesticks, you're going to see two colors, green and red. The green candles are what we call bullish candles, meaning the price went up during that time period. The red candles are bearish candles, meaning the price went down during that time. Here's the thing. Every candle can represent any time frame you want. 1 day, 1 hour, 1 minute, whatever you select. For this example, let's keep thinking of each candle as one full day. On a green candle, the day starts at the bottom of the candle body, that's your opening price, and ends at the top of the body, that's your closing price. So when you see a green candle, it means price moved up from open to close. But notice the thin lines sticking out above and below the candle. Those are important. The very top of the upper line shows the highest price of the day, and the very bottom of the lower line shows the lowest price of the day. So even though the day closed higher, the price could have dipped lower or pushed higher during the session before closing. Now with a red candle, the story is flipped. The top of the candle body is where the day opened, and the bottom is where it closed. That means the price dropped during the day. Again, you've got those thin lines, or wicks, showing the highs and lows reached during that candle session. The top wick shows the highest point price reached before dropping, and the bottom wick shows the lowest point before bouncing. Let's get some terminology down because you're going to hear me use these words all the time. The thick part of the candle, whether it's green or red, is called the body or the real body. Traders use both terms interchangeably. The thin lines above and below are called wicks, and some people call them shadows. So if you hear me say, look at that wick or check the shadow, I'm talking about those lines that show the extreme highs and lows of that candle. Understanding how to read these candles is huge because they tell you exactly what's been happening with price during any time frame you choose. And once you get used to reading them, you'll start spotting patterns, momentum shifts, and even possible reversals way before they're obvious to everyone else. That's when trading starts to get fun and profitable. If you are enjoying the video and want us to make more videos like this, hit the thumbs up button to show your support. And also in the comment, let us know your thoughts and tell us what kind of topic you will like us to cover to create more videos for you. And also, if you want more trading tips and analysis, join our free Telegram channel from the link in the description below. All right, before we dive into any chart analysis or setups, let me just quickly walk you through how to customize your TradingView layout, because trust me, when your chart is clean and built for how you think, everything feels 10x smoother. So here's what we're gonna do. Just right-click anywhere on your chart, doesn't matter where, and head over to Settings. That'll open up the Chart Settings window. And from here, you get full control over how your chart looks and feels. Now, if you wanna change how the candlesticks themselves look, click on this symbol tab right here. This is where the magic happens. You'll see a bunch of options, and yes, we're gonna play with a few of them. Let's start with the body of the candle. If you uncheck this little box called body, boom, you'll notice your candles go hollow. The middle disappears, and it creates this outline style chart that some traders actually love. It gives off that clean, minimal vibe. Honestly, it looks kind of cool. I've tested it before just to switch things up. But of course, the real fun begins when you start changing colors. By default, bullish candles are green, but personally, I like to flip that and use white for my bullish candles. It's just cleaner on my screen, especially when I'm deep into a session. My bearish candles, I've got those set to orange. It pops more, and it's easier for my eyes to instantly know when price is dropping. Some traders prefer white for bullish and black for bearish, and then match the borders to that color scheme too. It's all preference, but what matters most is that it helps you read price without second guessing, and that's the whole point. Build your chart around how you see the market. Don't worry about what everyone else is doing. Pick a layout that makes sense to your brain, because if your chart feels cluttered or confusing, you're already at a disadvantage before placing a trade. All right, now let's keep going. Still inside the settings menu, there are some extra tweaks I want to show you. For status line, there's a little checkbox to toggle the logo in the corner of your chart. Honestly, I always turn that off. It just takes up space and doesn't add anything for me. Same with the title text at the top of the chart. You can turn that off too if you want a cleaner look. Also, if you're trading Forex pairs or stocks, there's a setting that shows market open times. For crypto, it's not really necessary since it's open 24/7, but it can be helpful if you're trading stuff with actual market hours. Now, this next part is one of my favorite customizations, and barely anyone talks about it. Click into the Appearance or Canvas tab, and you'll see the option to change your background color. I always keep mine solid because I like it clean and distraction-free. You can go with a gradient if you want something a bit more dramatic, but for me, simplicity wins. I usually pick a neutral tone that's easy on my eyes, especially during those long sessions. All right, now let's talk grid lines, because this is another one of those things that just ends up distracting you more than helping. I personally turn both vertical and horizontal grid lines off. Why? Because I want my eyes focused on price action, not on a bunch of intersecting lines. The cleaner the canvas, the easier it is to spot patterns, zones, and structure. If you like having them on, cool. Maybe just lower the opacity or set them to a softer gray. But if you've never traded with them off, I'd say try it for a week. You'll probably never go back. The same goes for your crosshair. You can fully customize it too. Want it pink? Go ahead. Want it dotted or dashed? Easy. I keep mine simple gray, nothing flashy. Again, my goal is always to make the chart feel smooth and distraction-free. Next up is the watermark. This is that faded text in the middle of your chart that shows the trading pair. You can toggle it on or off. I usually turn it off because honestly, I already know what pair I'm trading. It's right there at the top. That big watermark just gets in the way of my zones and annotations. But hey, if you like it, you can keep it and even adjust the opacity to make it barely visible. So here's my suggestion. Take 5 to 10 minutes right after this video and just go through these settings for yourself. Make your chart yours. Don't settle for the default layout. Build something that's comfortable for your eyes, works with your routine, and helps you focus on what matters: the candles, the structure, and the setups. Trust me, having a chart that feels like your workspace makes a huge difference in your clarity and confidence when you sit down to trade. All right, so now that your chart is looking clean and custom to your style, I think you're finally ready to dive into some of the really fun stuff, and honestly, also super useful stuff. Let's talk about navigating the chart, how to zoom in, zoom out, move around fast, and just get super smooth with it. When I was starting out, this part confused the hell out of me. I try to zoom into a candle and end up staring at the wrong side of the chart. So let me help you skip all that mess. The very first thing you need to know is this. To zoom in and out, you just use the scroll wheel on your mouse. Scroll up, you zoom in, scroll down, and you zoom out. And this is your horizontal zoom, by the way, meaning you're stretching the chart left and right. Simple. But what if you want to zoom vertically? Like actually stretch or compress the price movement area? Here's the trick. Move your cursor over to the price axis. That's the right-hand side of the chart. And click and drag up or down with your left mouse button. Drag up to make them bigger, drag down to shrink the candle. That's your vertical zoom. Now let's say I'm trying to zoom in on this specific zone right here. I scroll in with the mouse wheel first, then I stretch it vertically to get a closer look at how the price reacted. This is what I do all the time when I'm refining entries or breaking down supply and demand zones. And to move around the chart itself, just click and drag anywhere on the chart. Click, hold, and move your mouse. That lets you slide the whole thing left or right and find whatever section you want to analyze. So it's scroll wheel to zoom in and out. Drag the price axis to adjust height. Click and drag to move around freely. If that's not working for you right now, don't panic. It's probably because auto mode is on. So here's how you fix that. Look in the bottom right corner of your chart. You'll see a button that says auto, and if it's lit up or checked, that means it's on. What auto mode does is it keeps your chart zoomed to the most recent price and tries to adjust things for you automatically. Now, some people like that. You can still scroll around and zoom, but it keeps snapping the view back to real time. Personally, I hate it. I like full freedom, so I uncheck it every time. I want full control of what I'm looking at, not some automatic zoom trying to babysit me. And while we're down here, let me show you something else that trips people up. The logarithmic scale. You're going to see a button right next to auto that says log. Click it, and the entire structure of your chart changes. It switches the y-axis from a regular scale to a log scale. Now don't stress if that sounds too technical. Let me show you what it actually does. Watch this move right here on the chart. With log mode on, this move looks massive. But now I'm going to turn log mode off, and boom. That same move shrinks down to a tiny blip on the screen. So what's going on here? Let's break it down. Right now, we're on a chart that only goes back to around 2020, so you don't get the full picture. Let me switch over to BTC USD on Coinbase, which has data going way back. All right. Now that we're on the Coinbase chart, I'm going to turn on log mode again. Look at this. Now we can clearly see price action going all the way back to 2016, and we can study every major move since then. You can actually read the chart properly. But now, watch what happens when I turn off log mode. Boom. Those early years are completely crushed at the bottom of the chart. You can't even see what Bitcoin was doing in 2016, 2017, or even early 2018. So the bottom line is this. In your analyzing long-term charts, especially with huge price changes, use a log scale. If you're trading more recent price action, especially on short time frames, stick to regular scale. Personally, I only turn log scale on when I'm zooming way out to study macro moves or doing historical analysis. 90% of the time, I leave it off, especially for day trading and short-term setups. All right. That's how you move around the chart like a pro. Zoom in, zoom out, break it down, and switch between scale modes depending on what you're trying to see. And listen, this may feel basic, but if your navigation is clunky, your analysis will always be messy. So don't skip this. Master your tools because they're your edge. All right, quick tip before we move on. This one's a time saver. Let's say you want to switch to the 5-minute chart fast. Instead of clicking through menus, all you have to do is just type 5 on your keyboard and hit enter. Boom. You're instantly looking at the 5-minute chart. No drop-downs, no distractions. Want to go to the 30-minute chart? Same thing. Just type 30, hit enter, and you're switched. Then double-click on the price axis right here to reset your vertical zoom. Super clean, super efficient. These little shortcuts save you tons of time, especially when you're flipping between time frames during fast-moving sessions. All right, now let's get into the part everyone's been waiting for, the tools and indicators. This is where the fun really begins. You've got your chart cleaned up, you know how to move around it. Now it's time to actually analyze the market and make sense of what price is doing. So let's talk about indicators. And look, there are tons of them on TradingView. Way too many for us to cover all at once. But I'll walk you through the most common ones and the ones I personally believe every trader should at least be familiar with. Once you understand how to use these tools, you're going to have a solid foundation, something you can actually build your strategy on. So let's get into it. To open up any indicator, just go up to the Indicators tab at the top of the screen. Click that, and from here you can search for any indicator you want. Let's start with something simple, Bollinger Bands. Just type Bollinger Bands into the search bar, click on it, and it'll pop up right on your chart. That's it. You've just added your first indicator. Now you can already see how it wraps around price, showing you volatility zones. But let me point something out. Inside this indicator window, you're going to see two main categories. Technicals. These are built-in indicators by TradingView. Community scripts. These are indicators created by other traders in the community. Some of the community scripts are really powerful. Others, not so much. But once you start exploring them, you'll find gold in there. Just don't get overwhelmed. Start with the basics. All right, let's load up one of the most popular indicators out there, the RSI, or Relative Strength Index. So I type in RSI up here, and as you'll see, a bunch of options pop up. Many of them are community-made, and that's fine. We're just going to use the standard one built by TradingView. It's literally labeled Relative Strength Index.
Click that one, and now you'll see it show up at the bottom of your chart. Now, I'm not going to go deep into RSI theory in this session, but in simple terms, RSI shows you momentum. It measures how strong a move is. So when you see big price pushes, like right here, RSI spikes up. Why? Because momentum is strong. The price is moving fast. Scroll left on the chart and you'll see another rally here. Again, RSI climbs high. Big push up equals high RSI reading. Now look here. Price makes a big move down, and what do you notice? RSI dips low. So you can already see how RSI reacts to movement. It's a visual way of reading strength versus weakness. And if you ever want to check what indicators you've got running, look at the top left of your screen. You'll see each indicator listed. You can click the eye icon to hide it, or click the gear icon to open up settings. Want to delete one? Just hit the Remove tab. Also, here's a power tip. If you want to move indicators around your layout, you can click and drag them. You can even create new panes. Right-click the indicator and choose Move to New Pane Below or New Pane Above. That'll separate your indicator from the price chart. Here, I move the Bollinger Band to a new pane above, and then I have RSI in another pane too. Boom, now I've got multiple indicators stacked cleanly, all separated for easier reading. And one more shortcut, double-click anywhere on your main chart. That hides all your indicators and just gives you a clean view of price. Great if your screen is feeling a little crowded and you want to focus for a second. Double-click again, and everything pops right back up. Easy. These small steps might seem simple now, but they make a huge difference once you're deep into analysis. And again, don't try to master 20 indicators at once. Get comfortable with a few, understand what they tell you, and how they support your strategy. All right, let me know in the chat what indicators you guys are already using, or if you've got one you want me to break down next. All right, so now that you've got your indicators sorted out and you know how to move around the chart like a pro, let's take it a step further. Let's look at some of the most important tools inside TradingView, and I'm talking about the ones that we use for actual technical analysis. Now, these are all found right here in the top left corner of your chart. And before we start clicking around, here's a quick tip. If there are tools that you use all the time, you can make your life easier by adding them to your favorites. You just click the star icon next to the tool and it'll pop up on your personal bar, right here for quick access. I've got a ton of mine already saved. It keeps everything within reach, so I don't have to go digging around when I'm in the middle of a trade setup. You can even toggle them on and off using the little star icon at the bottom of the tool list. Clean, simple, and fast. Just how I like it. All right, let's go through a few popular tools I use all the time, starting with the most basic, but also one of the most useful, the trendline tool. You'll find it right here at the top. This is how we draw a line between two significant price points, usually highs or lows, to visualize areas of support or resistance. Let me show you how it works. Let's say we've got two swing highs right here and here. If I draw a trend line connecting them, now we've got a level that, if price comes back to retest it, might act as resistance again. Traders watch for that kind of behavior all the time. And yes, you can fully customize your trend lines. Just click on the line once, go to the color box at the top, and pick whatever you want. I like to use white for clarity, but you can go with red, blue, white, whatever fits your layout. You can also adjust the line thickness with this button here, which is great when you want to highlight your key levels or just clean up the noise. Now let me show you another tool I absolutely love. It's called the Parallel Channel tool. You'll find it under the same trendline section. This tool is perfect when you're analyzing price channels, like when price is moving in a neat upward or downward trend. Here's how it works. Click once at the low of your trend, then again a little further along the trend, and now pull the line up to the high side. What this does is create a perfect channel with equal spacing between your trend lines. Super helpful for identifying high probability reversal zones and tracking trend momentum. Let me give you an example. See how the price was bouncing between these two lows and these two highs? Then we draw the parallel channel in. Then price breaks the channel. And look, price comes back down and taps that upper level again. That's where traders often look for long setups. Why? Because old resistance turns into new support. And when that setup's confirmed, boom, you're looking at a clean reversal zone from this larger downtrend. So just imagine this. Let's say we think price is going to go up from here. We place our stop loss just below the lower trend line, nice and tight, and our take profit back up here, targeting 3-to-1. Now let's say we're risking $100 on that trade. If price reacts the way we planned, we could make around $300, depending on how wide the move is. That's a 3-to-1 risk to reward setup, and that's exactly what we look for. That's what real trading is. It's not just random lines and hope. It's about measuring your risk, building a plan, and letting the math work for you. Now don't worry, we're not going deep into full strategy mode just yet. I just want you to start understanding why these tools matter and how they can make or lose you money depending on how you use them. So even though it might seem simple right now, drawing lines, connecting highs and lows, this is the foundation of almost every advanced analysis you'll do later. Master these basics, and everything else starts falling into place. The next tool that I like to use is the horizontal line tool. You'll find it under the same trend line section we were using earlier. I already have it saved in my favorites. Just click it, then tap once on your chart, and boom, you've got a clean horizontal level. Now I'm going to thicken this line up a bit just so you guys can see it more clearly here on stream. All right, there we go. So what's this tool actually for? Simple, it's used to mark support and resistance levels. These are areas where price has reacted strongly in the past and might do it again. Let's take a look at this chart together. Right here you can see Bitcoin pushed up and got rejected at this level. We had resistance. Then, when price finally broke through that level, what happened? It came back down, tested the same level again, and this time it held as support. That's what we call a classic flip, an old resistance becoming new support. And horizontal lines are perfect for marking those levels visually. Now check this out. Look just a bit lower on the chart. There's another area where price tapped this level multiple times. Here, it acted as resistance. Again, and again, and again. But when it finally broke, that was the start of a massive breakout to the upside. But here's something important to understand, and I want you to remember this. Support and resistance levels are not always perfect lines. A lot of new traders think price has to bounce off the exact same level every time, but that's not how the market works. Most of the time, support and resistance behaves more like a zone or area, not a single price. So how do we draw that? That's where the next tool comes in. Go down to the Geometric Shapes section in your tool panel. In there, find the Rectangle tool. I already have it saved in my favorites, and I highly recommend you do the same. Click it, and now you can draw a zone instead of a line. Let me show you. Remember that resistance level we talked about earlier? Instead of marking it with just one line, I'm going to draw a rectangle over the general area where price reacted. Something like this. You see the difference? This is more accurate because now we're capturing the full area where price might find sellers or buyers. Something like price stops right at the top of the zone. Sometimes it dips a bit deeper inside. Other times it fakes out just above or below it. By using a zone instead of just a line, we're giving ourselves room for error. And that's how smart traders stay in the game. Because, let's be honest, the market doesn't care about our perfect lines. It moves in ranges, sweeps zones, hunts liquidity. And when you start seeing those zones as areas of reaction, your whole mindset around charting levels shifts. So next time you mark out a resistance or support, don't just draw a single flat line. Ask yourself, is this more of a level or is it a zone?
If it's a zone, grab that rectangle tool and map it out. That little shift alone will make your analysis more realistic and way more reliable.
All right, next up, let me show you one of my favorite quick tools I use all the time, the date and price range tool, or as I like to call it, the measure tool. You'll find it in your toolbar and it's super handy. What this tool does is simple. You click one point on your chart, drag across to another, and it instantly tells you everything you need to know about that move. How many bars, so if you're on a 1 hour chart, how many hours, how many days that move took, the percentage change in price, and even the volume if that's being tracked during that range. It's such a clean way to get a feel for how long a move lasted and how big it actually was. Now here's a quick shortcut for you. If you don't want to click through the menu, just hold down Shift on your keyboard and click anywhere on the chart. Boom, same measure box pops up. This version is kind of like a quick glance tool because the moment you click away, it disappears. But if you just want to check, say, how far a breakout ran or how deep a pullback was, that shortcut is HOI. Now let me show you another one that I use a lot when I'm doing explainer videos or just trying to map out ideas visually. It's called the Path tool. This tool is under the Geometric Shapes section, and what it lets you do is literally draw pretend price paths on your chart. So let's say price is sitting here, and I think it might move up, pull back a bit, and then push again. I just click, click, click to draw the moves I'm imagining. Every time I click, it creates a bend in the path, and when I'm done, I just hit escape and it locks in the drawing. It's such a good tool when you're practicing trade ideas or showing someone what your bias is without needing to say a word. All right, let's move on to the brush tool, also found under the same Geometric Tools tab. This one's pretty self-explanatory, but super useful. It lets you freehand draw on your chart. I use this one a lot when I'm making YouTube tutorials or breaking stuff down live, just to circle areas, highlight zones, or make quick marks on the fly. It's perfect for that quick, messy, but useful type of annotation. And just like with the other tools, you can customize the color, thickness, opacity, and all of that. So if I'm circling something in red, I want it to stand out. If I'm shading something subtle, I'll use a softer tone. Now here's a really underrated tip. If your chart is starting to feel cluttered and you've got lines and shapes and drawings all over the place, try this. Hold down Control, click and drag your mouse, it'll highlight everything in a blue box. Now all your selected drawings turn blue. You can move them together, adjust them as a group, or just hit delete and clear them all at once. Super clean, super fast. Okay, a couple bonus tools real quick before we move on. The text tool. This lets you write notes directly on your chart. Maybe you want to label a key level, leave a message for future you like, watch this zone, whatever it is. This is where you do it. The Through Circle tool. You guessed it, it draws a circle. Great for pointing out spikes, fakeouts, reaction zones, or if you're just a visual thinker like me and want to draw around something instead of using a box. That's pretty much it for this batch of tools. Most of these are simple, but once you know how to use them the right way, they become super powerful in your day-to-day analysis. And remember, don't just throw a bunch of tools on your chart for no reason. Be intentional. Every line, every drawing should have a purpose. Keep your analysis clean, focused, and meaningful. This next tool is probably my favorite tool that has ever been created in the trading world. It's called the Fibonacci retracement tool, and it's one of the most powerful tools you can use when you're trying to find potential reversal zones and plan your trades with structure. So let's head up to the Gann and Fibonacci tools section. It's that little icon right here. Now, I already have the Fibonacci retracement tool added to my favorites, so I can access it quickly from the side panel. But if you don't have it saved yet, go ahead and click the star icon next to it so you can get to it fast anytime. Now, when you first use this thing, it might look confusing. I get it. There's a lot of lines and numbers all over the place. But don't worry, I'll explain exactly how it works in a super simple way. So here's what you do. At a low point on your chart, what we call the swing low, then you drag to a high point, your swing high. And that's it. The Fib tool will instantly draw a bunch of levels between those 2 points. So first of all, you can see that we have sort of numbers right here. These numbers are basically percentages. So for example, this number right here, 0.382, which means 38.2%. 0.5, which is 50%. 0.618, which is 61.8%. 0.786, which is 78.6%. These numbers represent retracement levels. Basically, they tell us how far price has pulled back during a move. These levels come from natural mathematical patterns that repeat all over the place in nature, not just in trading. Pretty wild. Now, quick side note, I'll probably make a full video going deep into the Fibonacci theory later, so if you want that breakdown, make sure you're subscribed and stay tuned because I'll show you exactly why these levels matter and how I use them in my actual trades. But for today, I just want to show you how I set it up and how I use it on the chart. So once the tool is drawn, I go into the settings and here's what I change. First, I switch to one color only, usually a soft gray, so it's not super loud on my screen. Remove the background. Next, I make the lines a bit thinner, just so they're clean and don't take over the whole chart. I'd also like to remove the trend line. Then I remove some of the extra levels that I don't personally use, like 1.618, 2.618, 0.423, and so on. Another additional settings that I do is to change the color of level 0.382 and 0.618 to something like this. Once I've done all that, I hit OK, and now my Fib tool is clean, simple, and ready to go. So let's look at how to actually use this. Right here, we've got a clear uptrend. How do we know? Because the market is making higher highs and higher lows. That's the textbook definition of an uptrend. To apply the Fib retracement, we click at the swing low of the first leg up and drag to the swing high. Now look at what happened. Price pulls back. That's what we call a retracement. And where does that pullback stop? Right inside this zone between the 0.382 and 0.618 levels. This is what we call the Fibonacci golden zone. Most of the time, if the trend is going to continue, the price will reverse somewhere inside this zone. And look, that's exactly what happened here. After the pullback hits the zone, price finds support and pushes right back to the upside. Let's scroll left and do another example. Right here, we've got another move. So again, we go from swing low to swing high and watch how price retraces back into that same golden zone. Look at that. Boom, reversal again. This is the type of pattern that shows up over and over once you learn to spot it. Now keep in mind, the Fibonacci tool works in both directions. In an uptrend, you draw from low to high. And in a downtrend, you go from high to low. Same rules, just flipped. And again, we're not guessing here. The beauty of this tool is that it gives us structure. It helps us say, okay, this is the move, and here's where a clean pullback would likely happen before price continues.
With other confluences and the Fibonacci, it lets us plan our entries, stops, and targets more logically, instead of just hoping something happens. And once you get the hang of it, you'll start seeing these retracement zones everywhere. And they'll start lining up with other tools too, like trend lines, demand zones, or even RSI divergences. So yeah, this is one of my go-to tools, and once you start playing with it, I think you'll see why.
All right, now let's wrap this section up with one last tool. And honestly, this one is super useful, especially when you're trying to map out your trade setups clearly on the chart. I'm talking about the long and short position tools. You'll find them over here under the forecasting and measurement tools. One is for long trades when you think the price will go up, and the other is for short trades when you think the price is going to drop. So let's say I want to enter a trade around this retracement to the fib golden zone right here. What I'm going to do is select the long position tool and then just click on the exact area where I plan to enter the trade. Now, once it's placed on the chart, I can drag the stop loss box down to the level where I'd be okay taking a loss, right here beneath that zone. And then I'll do the same thing with my take profit. Drag that top box up to the area I want to exit for profit. And boom, now I can visually see my entire plan laid out on the chart. But here's where it gets even better. If you look closely, this tool is now showing you exactly how much risk you're taking versus how much potential profit you're aiming for. That number in the middle is your risk to reward ratio. So let's break that down.
If that number says 3, that means you're risking $1 to make $3.
Let's say you're risking $1,000 on this trade. That means if the trade hits your take profit, you'd make $3,000.
Now watch what happens as I adjust this. If I move the stop loss higher, making the risk smaller, my risk to reward ratio goes up. Or my take profit lower, making the reward smaller, the ratio goes down. So you can literally play around with it and make sure your trades are structured properly before you even hit that buy button. This is so important, especially if you're trying to build discipline and consistency in your trading. Instead of just guessing where to enter and exit, this tool gives you a clear plan. You know where you're in, where you're out, and how much you're risking to make how much. And yeah, I've got these tools saved for both long and short trades, so I can always just click and drag anytime I'm planning a move. Helps me keep things clean and helps me stay focused on risk management, which honestly is half the battle in trading. Let's say I'm backtesting right now, then I click on buy. As you can see, I already entered a long position. Now I can click on the stop loss and drag it to the point I selected earlier. I do the same with my take profit. And this is going to show me all of the data that's for this position. How much am I risking right here, and how much am I going to make if the trade hits my take profit? When you do the maths, it will correspond to this ratio on the long position tool. So yeah, this tool, absolute game changer. And that wraps up our main section on all the tools I use to analyze, plan, and execute my trades here on TradingView. If you are enjoying the video and want us to make more videos like this, hit the thumbs up button to show your support. And also in the comments, let us know your thoughts and tell us what kind of topics you would like us to cover to create more videos for you. And also, if you want more trading tips and analysis, join our free Telegram channel from the link in the description below.
All right, so now let me show you a few other really useful tabs inside TradingView that'll help you keep everything clean and organized, especially when you're switching between setups or trying to compare markets. Let's start with this tab right here. It's the Compare Symbol tab. If you click on this little plus sign right here, it's going to open up a search box, kind of like what we used earlier when we were changing pairs. From here, you can just type in the ticker or the symbol of whatever market you want to compare. Now, this part is important. Once you pick a market, you'll get a few options. Same scale will layer the new symbol directly on top of the one you're already watching. New price scale gives each market its own scale. And the one I personally use most, New Pane. This one creates a brand new window underneath your current chart. So yeah, I'll go ahead and choose New Pane here. And now, boom, you'll see both charts stacked one on top of the other. Pretty useful if you're comparing something like Bitcoin versus Ethereum or maybe gold versus the dollar. You can also go into the settings and change how the comparison symbol looks, like switching between candlesticks and line chart if you want to keep it simple. And whenever you want to remove the comparison, just click this remove button and it'll disappear from your chart. Clean and easy. All right, next up, let's talk about indicator templates. This little button here is such a time saver. If you ever use the same indicators over and over again, this feature lets you save that entire setup so you can load it on any chart in just one click.
Let me show you how it works. So right now, I already have the 50 EMA on my chart. Let's add a couple more. I'm going to throw on the 100 EMA and also the RSI indicator. Now, I'll click this button called Indicator Templates, and from here, I'll hit Save Indicator Template. It'll ask me to give the setup a name. Let's call it something simple like EMA RSI setup. You can also choose whether you want this template to always load for a specific symbol or time frame. So if you always use this setup on BTC 4-hour, you can just check those boxes and it'll remember that for you. Once that's saved, anytime I pull up a new chart or just want to quickly check a setup, I can come back to this button, pick my saved template, and boom, all those indicators appear just like that. Even better, if you click the little star icon beside your favorite template, it'll show up right here as a shortcut, so you don't even have to open the dropdown. One click, and it's on your chart. Now, if you ever want to delete a template, just click the Indicator Template button again, and then click the little trash icon next to the one you want to remove. TradingView will ask you to confirm it before deleting, just so you don't accidentally wipe out your favorite setup.
This little section right here honestly saves me so much time, especially when I'm doing live analysis or flipping between different trading styles. Let me know in the comments if you've already been using indicator templates or if this is new to you. I'd love to hear how you guys are organizing your charts. This tab is going to allow us to set alerts on our chart, so you never miss key price movement again. You can also manage all your alerts from this tab right here on the right-hand side. Let me show you how to set it up. There are a couple ways you can create a price alert. The first way is to just hit the alert button at the top of the screen right here in the toolbar. Another way, the one I use a lot, is to just right-click on the chart and select Add Alert. That'll open up this alert box where we can now configure everything. Another way is, let's say I want to know when Bitcoin breaks above this zone right here. I just hover my mouse near that level and click on this little plus icon that pops up. Hit Add Alert and boom, a dotted line appears on the chart. Now, if I double click on that dotted line, it opens the alert settings where I can adjust stuff like the alert message, give the alert a custom name, or even change how and when I get notified. The top box here shows the symbol you're setting the alert for. In this case, BTC USDT. Now, this next box is super important, the condition. That's where you choose what you want the alert to be based on. By default, it's set to price, but you can also set alerts for specific indicators that you've added to your chart. Just pick the one you want from the list. Then from the dropdown, you choose how you want the alert to trigger. Like for example, if I want to be alerted when the price crosses above a level, I'll choose crossing up. Then I'll enter the value, maybe something like $117,000. After that, you get to decide how often you want this alert to trigger. You can select once or choose every time, which will alert you every single time this condition happens. You can even set an expiration date for the alert if you want it to auto-cancel later, or just leave it open indefinitely by selecting the open-ended option. Now, this message box right here, it'll have some default text, but you can totally change it and write something custom like, "Yo, BTC just hit 117K. If you want to tweak how you get the alert, like getting it on your phone, by email, or even a pop-up, just click the Notifications tab at the top of the box. From there, you can choose exactly how you want to be notified when the alert goes off. Once everything looks good, just hit Create or Save and boom, your alert is live. Now, if you want to see all your active alerts, head over to the Alerts panel on the right-hand side. That section shows all your current alerts at the top, and below that is the alerts log, which lists every alert that's already been triggered. And this is cool. If you hover over any of the alerts, you'll see icons to pause the alert or delete it. You can also right-click the dotted alert line on your chart and remove it that way too. So yeah, alerts are a game changer. They save you from staring at the screen all day and let you know when something big is happening in the market. Let me know in the comments, do you guys already use alerts in your trading, or is this something new you're just learning? I want to hear what tools you found most helpful so far. This tab here is called the bar replay tool. If you're someone who likes to practice your setups or test strategies without waiting for hours of price movement, you're gonna love this. The bar replay tool lets you go back in time and replay price candles one by one, just like you're watching the market live. Super helpful when you're trying to practice day trading or just want to see how your trading system performs in different situations. So here's how to use it. First, come up here and click on this little replay icon. You'll notice your mouse turns into this blue vertical line. That's how you know replay mode is activated. Now just hover over your chart and pick the candle where you want the replay to begin. The second you click, the candles after that point will disappear, and now you're in full control. Right down here, you'll see the replay control bar pop up. You can use the jump to tool to skip ahead to a certain spot on the chart. Or you can hit the play button to start replaying candles at your own pace. You'll even find speed controls so you can speed it up or slow it down depending on how you want to watch it. The forward arrow lets you move one candle at a time. There's also the Go to Real Time button, which jumps you right back to the current live chart when you're done.
Now, this is honestly one of the top tools we use in our private Telegram group when we're working through new strategies or reviewing old trades. Let's say I wanted to test a setup where I enter after a breakout. I can just click to place a virtual trade during the replay and then step forward, candle by candle, and watch how it plays out. Win or lose, I'm getting instant feedback without having to wait for a real trade to unfold live. It's literally like having a time machine for your trading. So if you're serious about improving, definitely start using bar replay. Use it to test your entries, spot mistakes, and build confidence in your setups. Trust me, this is one of the best ways to get screen time without risking a single dollar. All right, fam. Let's talk about something really powerful inside TradingView that not a lot of beginners use, but once you get into it, you'll see how clutch it is. And that's multi-chart layout setups. So this little box up here at the top, this is where the magic happens. This is your layout setup panel, and it lets you create multiple chart windows inside a single layout. It's what we call multi-time frame analysis. Basically, it allows you to look at the same asset or different assets across different time frames or chart types, all in one view. Now, depending on your TradingView plan, you'll be able to unlock more layouts. Since I use TradingView full-time, I've got the premium plan, and I'll just be real with you, it's worth it. But here's a tip that'll save you money. Wait for Black Friday. Every year, TradingView runs a crazy deal. I'm talking up to 70% off the annual plan. You're already saving by going yearly, but then they throw this huge discount on top. So if you're thinking about upgrading, that's honestly the best time. And if you want to support the channel while getting a bonus, I've got a referral link in the description. You'll get $15 off and I get a little kickback, so we both win. Anyway, let's get back into it. You'll see options here for 2, 3, 4, even up to 8 charts in one layout. Personally, I don't go crazy with 8 or 16 charts. That's just chaotic. I usually switch between a 2-chart or 3-chart layout depending on what I'm analyzing. Like maybe I'll have Bitcoin on one window, Ethereum on another, and a third window zoomed in on a lower time frame. Super clean. Let me show you how it works. Let's say I click this 3-chart layout. Now we've got 3 panels on screen. You can resize them however you want, just drag the edges around. But here's the key part, the sync settings. By default, all 3 charts might be showing the same asset and the same time frame. But if you look at this down toolbar, you'll see these little buttons, symbol, interval, crosshair, and date range. If I leave symbol sync checked, then anytime I change one chart, like switch from Bitcoin to Ethereum, all the other charts will switch too. But if I want to see Bitcoin on the left and Ethereum on the right, then I uncheck that symbol box, and now I can change each chart independently. The same goes for interval. I can have the left chart showing a 5-minute time frame and the right chart on the 15-minute or 1 hour. This is perfect when I'm zooming in to scout entries and still want to see the big picture. Now for the crosshair. This is when your mouse pointer syncs across all charts. Super useful if you're trying to track the same price level or timestamp across multiple charts. But if that gets too cluttered, just uncheck it and each chart will act on its own.
And lastly, date range. This controls how far back in time your charts scroll. If it's on, when you scroll one chart, the others follow. If you turn it off, you can scroll each one separately. Honestly, this gives you full control of your chart workspace. Whether you're scalping or just watching different pairs, this layout setup helps you stay organized and efficient without flipping between tabs or windows. So if you're someone who likes to see everything at once, or you're learning how to compare different time frames, this is a game changer. This tab right here, this is your layout manager. These aren't the same as the chart layouts we talked about earlier with multiple time frames. These are more like entire workspaces inside of TradingView. Think of them like separate desks in your trading office. Once pressed, you will see by default, you will have a chat layout called unnamed. But I already have mine named. You can rename this layout by clicking the rename option and entering the new name in the dialog box that appears. To create a new layout, click the New Layout button and a dialog box will open. Here, you can name the layout and click Save. Your new TradingView tab will open with your new layout opened. You will notice that all your charts will have now gone back to their original settings without drawings or indicators added. This is because layouts allow you to have completely separate workspaces inside TradingView. This enables you to have different analysis methods very easily accessible without having to fully change your charts each time. Instead, you can just set up as many different layouts as you need and move between them as required. This little picture icon right here, that's your screenshot button. This is perfect for journaling trades or sharing setups with your community. Once you click it, you'll get a few options. Download the image to your device, copy the chart image so you can paste it into Notion, Google Docs, or wherever you journal, copy a shareable link that anyone can click and view your chart, Carat, open it in a new tab, or even tweet the screenshot straight from here if you're active on X. Personally, I love using the save or copy option to document my trades, especially when I want to review wins and losses later. It helps you stay accountable and improve your entries over time. This button is going to be in control of our watch list. Once you click it, your watch list panel pops up, and by default, you'll already see a bunch of markets in there, grouped into different categories like stocks, crypto, indices, all that good stuff. Now, for each market, it'll show the ticker symbol, the latest price, the daily change in points or pips, and the percentage change for the day. Now, say you're watching a few pairs and you want to dive into a chart. You just click any market from the list and boom, the chart will load instantly. If you want to remove a market, just hover your mouse over that pair and hit the little remove icon on the right. Clean and simple. Now, let's say you want to add a new market, maybe Ethereum or GBP USD. Just click the little plus icon at the top of the watch list. That brings up the search box. Type in whatever you're looking for, then click the plus sign next to it, and it'll be added to the bottom of your list. But here's where it gets fun. You're not stuck with just one giant watch list. You can actually create multiple watch lists for different strategies. For example, I've got one for scalping pairs, one for swing setups, and another just for high volatility movers. To do this, click the watch list title, like where it says default or your current list name, and then select Create New List. A box will pop up where you can name your new list. Call it whatever you like, and hit Enter. Now you've got a blank watch list ready for you to build out. You can switch between lists the same way. Just click the watch list title again and pick the one you want. Now here's a really neat trick. Flagging markets with colors. If you look at the left side of each market in your list, you'll see a little flag icon. Click that and you can choose a color. Personally, I use this to keep track of market status. For example, green, ready to trade now, yellow, getting close to setup, red, already traded or not touching. Once you've marked stuff, you can even filter by color. Just click the watch list title, scroll down, and choose a color-specific list like green, and boom, only those flagged markets will show. This is clutch when you're trying to narrow things down fast during a live session or volatile move. So yeah, the watch list is super underrated, but if you use it right, it becomes your personal command center. All right, let's keep this thing rolling. Now, this little section right here, this is what I call the drawing control center. Basically, any drawing you make on your chart, trend lines, fibs, zones, whatever, they all show up here in a nice, neat little list. It's super useful when your chart starts looking like spaghetti and you want to manage things better. You can click to hide or delete stuff without having to scroll around zoomed out like crazy. Now, right next to it, see those two speech bubble icons? That's for chatting. First one opens up public chats and the second is for private messages. If you click into the public chats, you'll see different chat rooms where people are talking about all kinds of stuff, Forex, crypto, stocks, memes, you name it. It's open to everyone with a TradingView account, so feel free to jump in, ask questions, drop trade ideas, or just chill and vibe with other traders. And then for private chats, it works just like DMs. You can search for a user, message them directly, and even manage your ongoing convos. It's pretty handy if you're part of a small group or just want to message someone about a chart they posted. Now, let's talk about something really helpful, the Economic Calendar tab. Remember earlier when I mentioned watching out for news events that move the market? This is where you can stay ahead of that news. Click on this little calendar icon and boom, it opens up a sleek panel showing upcoming events. You'll see everything from interest rate decisions to job reports right on the side of your chart. No need to open a separate tab or go to some external site. Each event is marked with little bar icons. 1 bar means small impact, 2 bars is medium, 3 bars high impact news that could rock the market. If you only want to focus on the heavy stuff, you can filter to show just the high impact events with 1 click. Super clean, super easy. You can also resize the window if you want more space or less. I usually keep it small on the side while I'm analyzing price action so I don't get caught off guard by big announcements. Oh, and you can also access the community tab we talked about earlier right from here too, so you can share your thoughts, get feedback, and stay connected with the rest of the trader fam. So yeah, these tabs might look low-key, but once you start using them right, they seriously level up your trading flow. Let me know in the comment if you've ever used the calendar or public chat room before. And if not, hey, now's the time to start exploring. Another thing I would like to talk about is connecting your broker directly to TradingView. Here's how you do it. Go ahead to the bottom of your TradingView screen and click on this button that says Trading Panel. It's right on the toolbar down there. Once you click that, you'll see a panel pop up with a list of brokers and crypto exchanges that TradingView supports. Click here to maximize the screen. From this search bar, you can search for your broker to see if it is supported by TradingView. Now, heads up, TradingView doesn't work with every broker out there, okay?
It's a limited list, so if your broker isn't showing up in that panel, unfortunately that means you can't place trades directly from TradingView. But, and this is a big but, don't let that stop you. Even if you can't trade from inside TradingView, you can still use it to analyze the charts, draw your zones, do your breakdowns, and then just hop over to your broker's app or website to actually place your trades. Trust me, TradingView is still miles better than what most brokers give you. Now, let's say your broker or exchange is on the list, like Bybit, which is what I personally use. Here's what you're going to do. Click on the Bybit logo or whatever broker you use. A little window is going to pop up asking you to connect to your broker account. Just follow the steps. It's super straightforward. Once you're connected, you can place trades, manage open positions, set stop loss, and take profits, all directly from inside TradingView. Super clean, super simple. And if you're interested in trying out Bybit, I got you. There's a link down in the description below that'll let you open a free account, and it helps support the channel too. You'll even get a $30,000 bonus when you sign up using that link, so definitely check that out if you're looking for a solid exchange. All right, my friends. Another thing I get asked very often is, is it possible to practice trading inside TradingView? And the answer is yes, 100%. That's where paper trading comes in, and let me tell you, this feature is a game changer, especially if you're still new to the game or just testing out new strategies. So do me a favor, lock in on this part because it's super important. To use this paper trading account, the first thing you're going to do is click the trading panel button again, then select the paper trading icon in the list of available brokers. We're not using real money today, so we're going to click on paper trading. You'll see it right there in the list. Now that you're connected, you'll see it says paper trading at the top, along with your account name. Head into the settings tab, and this is where the magic happens.
You'll see a button that says reset account. If you click on that, you can choose how much virtual money you want to start with. By default, it gives you $100,000, but say you want to simulate trading with $20,000 instead, just change it and hit reset. You'll now see that new balance right up there in the corner. Easy. This next setting is super underrated, but really helpful. There's a checkbox in settings called Include Commission. Turn that on. Because in the real world, every trade costs something. Even if it's small, you're going to be paying fees to your broker, so it's good to simulate that in your paper trading too. You can choose either a fixed commission, like $1 per trade, or a percentage-based commission. Let's just set it to $1 per trade for now and hit save. You'll notice a few tabs here: positions, orders, history. Right now they're all empty, but don't worry, that's just because we haven't placed a trade yet. Let's close the panel for a second and head back to the chart. Click on trade right here. Go to the top right corner, you'll see a buy button and a sell button. That's our trading panel. Now, by default, it's set to market order. That just means we're buying at the current price. So let's keep it simple and stick with that for this example. Let's say we're trading Ethereum and it's currently at $4,220. We'll use 10 units for now. You can always go lower, like 1 Ethereum. Then set our take profit to $4,400 and set our stop loss at $4,175. Super basic setup. Now hit buy and click on send order. Now check this out. 3 lines appear on your chart. Blue line equals your entry. Green line equals your take profit. Yellow line equals your stop loss. This is the kind of visual that makes TradingView so powerful for practicing and learning. Let's open the trading panel again and maximize it. Now under positions, you'll see your open trade listed right there. If you go over to the orders tab, you'll see your take profit and stop loss recorded too. Once you close your trade later, you'll also see the result in history, so you can actually track your performance just like a real trader. Now, just so we're clear, the trade we just took was totally random, okay? We're just walking through the process here. But if you actually want to learn real trading strategies, improve your win rate, and understand indicators, I've got loads of tutorials waiting for you. Just check out our Telegram channel. Link is in the description and pinned comment. If this video helped you out, do me a quick favor. Hit that like button, subscribe if you're new here, and drop a comment letting me know if you've tried paper trading before. All right, fam, let's keep learning together and leveling up our trades.